Hi, this is Mark Jewell. You're listening to Control Talk Now with Eric Stromquist and Ken Smyers.
Welcome to Control Talk Now. This is your host, Eric Stromquist, for the week ending September 15th, 2013. I am joined, as usual, by my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the one, the only, Kenny Smyers from Pittsburgh, home of the Pirates, home of the Steelers, home of David Smyers and Tom Smyers, as well as Kenny Smyers, Pennsylvania. Kenny, welcome to the show, and happy birthday to your brother, David.
Well, thank you, Eric, for all the above. The Pirates won last night. We're at the game. It was a great night to be in Pittsburgh. Pitt won. How's things down in Atlanta?
Well, if the Falcons can win, it'll be good. So we got a big game today. I'm not feeling too good about it, but hopefully I'm wrong about that. So anyway, people ask us, what do you guys do on Control Talk Now? Well, while the rest of the world sleeps on this Sunday morning, Ken Smyers and I are going through control news you can use. We're hoping we can update you so that you can give everything you need to know to get through your week with controls. Ken and I like controls. Both of us have been around the industry for a long time. Both of us are with family businesses. Ken's with the Smyers Company out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's been doing this about 30 years. I've been doing it about 30 years. Hey, thanks to clean living, we don't look that old, but we are.
Why don't we get started, and then we'll start with the sponsor for Control Talk Now. Weekending September 15th, 2013 is Johnson Controls, featuring the Johnson Controls microdrives and the selection tool and all the other good stuff. Johnson Controls has taken the microdrive to the next level. There's some fabulous features here, and when you go from the fractional horsepower to the 10 horsepower drives, the Johnson now says that they can provide 8 to 10 additional % savings over their competitors. So VFDs are an untapped market. Any fan motor, any pump motor out there is a potential VFD. The government utilities have rebates for use of VFDs, and today's a VFD show because we have 3 references to VFDs. We have Johnson Controls as the sponsor. We have Stromquist. You can tell us about the program you got to sell VFDs down there in the Georgia. And we have a post on VFDs for the people that aren't really immersed in the business and don't sell VFDs for a living. This gets them an idea what VFDs do and how effective they are in saving energy and saving money.
That's correct, Kenny. So great post there. And, of course, that was, if you didn't notice, that was Mark Jewell from Energy Efficient Sales course. He is one of the featured speakers at the Honeywell EEO program, as well as he does a Ninja Boot Camp. So Mark is great. So stay tuned later. We'll probably have a surprise for you regarding Mark. But also, Kenny, real quick, wanted to mention, because we're talking about energy savings, and variable frequency drives are obviously a great way to do that. So Jack Connell reached out to me. They still have some spots in the Honeywell EEO training that is taking place October, let me get the dates right, Kenny. It's taking place October 15th and 17th in Golden Valley, which is Minneapolis. Great course. I was up there a couple weeks ago, Kenny. Fantastic course. You get exposed to Mark up there. Plus, they give you great tools to work with. If you're a Honeywell systems integrator or distributor, it is a absolute must, in my opinion, Kenny, and don't miss that. If you're not a Honeywell systems integrator, find your local Honeywell distributor. It's worth signing up for the product line, I think, just to have access to that program. So special shout out to Jack Connell and Jerry up there at EEO training, and of course, Mark, thank you so much for the great introduction. We really appreciate that. So stay tuned. We got a little bit with the Johnson Drive. You're absolutely right, Kenny. Thanks to Johnson. They're a great sponsor, 2013 Control Trends Award sponsor. They had several winners last year at the Control Trends Awards. This year, I think they got a real strong contender for the Variable Frequency Drive of the Year. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And like I said, in the middle of the show, you'll get a little peek at this new addition to the Johnson Drive line. So, Kenny, what do you say we just rock and roll and get into sort of what happened the last week or so?
Certainly, Eric. Well, the Crazy Fall Variable Frequency Drive promotion at the Stromquist locations. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this? It looks really cool. It looks like you got the support of all your sales folks and your marketing folks, and you put together a good program.
Well, Kenny, we try to keep it interesting. We do have a marketing team at Stromquist and Company, and it's just, as you know, our business sometimes can be a bit dry. So we try different things, and they put together a program. Basically, if you buy $10,000 worth of drives over the course of about a month and a half, which is not a lot of drives if you have a job, and it doesn't matter whose drive you use. You could put in a Johnson drives, Honeywell, Siemens. Heck, you could even buy ABB drives from me. I don't care. We're not set up to sell ABB, but buy $10,000 worth of drives from us if you're one of our Atlanta, Georgia, or Orlando customers, and your name will go into a hat. And part of what we're doing is you get to choose your prize. You get to either have a night out on the town with Sean Johnson, a.k.a. the Jamaican sensation. Now, Sean is definitely a man about town in Atlanta. If you go to his website, he does cigar events and knows a lot of beautiful women. So Sean's on the marketing team, and his idea was that we should have a night on the town for the winner and two of their friends. Now, Stacy, who is also on the marketing team, disagrees. She thinks people are just going to get in trouble if they do that. So her suggestion, Kenny, is a spa day. So if you're married, you can bring your wife and maybe somebody else, but a spa day with Stacy. So it'll be a high-end spa with her, and she thinks you're going to stay out of trouble because she thinks Seon is big trouble, and he kind of is. And then finally, we got Chuck Williams, CW. He's on our marketing team as well, and Chuck is kind of a man's man. So his proposal is, hey, let's do a combat day. So what he's proposing is going out to the racetrack, maybe driving some race cars around, maybe going and shooting some paintball, maybe go to a rifle range, shoot some guns, maybe go to a fight, but put your camos on and hang out with CW. So you and two of your friends can go with CW for a combat day. So all three of these people disagree, so we sort of set up a competition, made the best idea win. All you have to do is buy $10,000 worth of drives from Stromquist between now and October 3rd, and your name goes in the hat, and you get to choose, and we'll find out who really does have the best idea. So, hey, appreciate the team doing that. They're putting together some more videos on this, so it should be a lot of fun to at least watch that play out.
Sounds really interesting, Eric, and good luck. And too bad I couldn't play in it, but we're trying to sell drives up here too. Yeah, it's a great idea. I hope it works for you. All right, Eric, next up we had the Secured Cities. Get up close and personal with City Watch. And this is a very fascinating article that we picked up about the city of Baltimore. Every year they have a City Watch program where they bring in some great speakers. But the whole concept, you're talking about the city of Baltimore where they have 538 cameras from across the city into a criminal intelligence watch center located inside Baltimore's police department headquarters. I guess we have to take the good side of this and the positive upside to the amount of cameras that are we're under surveillance probably 24/7 now, certainly in Baltimore and certain parts of the city. But there's a correlation there to a dramatic reduction in crime. Cameras deter crime, and people, bad guys don't want to be caught doing what they're doing, so they're going to go somewhere else. So it's a great post. I recommend everybody read that simply because of the fascinating information. And it's I think you can still attend it.
Well, it is, Kenny. And I got to tell you, now that systems distributors and systems integrators are getting more involved with integrating security cameras into the front end systems, there's rumors. Okay, the rumors that they're getting ready to remake that series, The Wire. Now, I don't know whether you remember that series or not. It was one of the best TV series ever. It was set in Baltimore, Maryland. And rumor has it that our friend, Pat Marcella, M&M Controls, in Baltimore, will be co-starring along with Roger Rebanak and Laura Kevitt from Honeywell, and that they're going to catch these drug dealers and crooks using Honeywell cameras. Now, I think they're still negotiating with Roger's agent. If you know Roger, a.k.a. the most exciting man in the controls industry, it might be a bit before he agrees to a contract. But if you are in Baltimore or Maryland in that area, please check out M&M Controls and our friend Pat Marcella. He actually took me down to where they filmed The Wire. I was up there visiting him about a year or two ago. But Pat's one of the all-time great guys in our industry, has a great technical support team headed up by Paul Burke. So I think people in Maryland in that area would echo that M&M Controls is a great choice for all your integration controls, including the security cameras.
I'm sure we'll have Pat and his folks will be down there and they can tell us all about it. By the way, I did watch The Wire. Watched the first 3 seasons.
That's addictive, isn't it? That is addictive. That's one of the best TV series ever. If you're one of our listeners and have watched The Wire, let us know what you thought of it. But I don't think they've had anything better since then. Do you?
That's a lot of fun. All right, Eric. Next up was the Belimo Zip Economizer Rocks. You did a nice little post there. I had a real interesting information about the zip and the zip code. The zip code comes from the Zone Improvement Program, and it just dawned on me how Belimo is using that. That's an unregistered, what do you call it? Not a trademark, but a service mark that the industries and governments use when they have particular programs. But it's a very interesting concept of how they used a federal program to incorporate that information into their economizer controller, because it's all based on location. So it's just a great marketing idea. And why don't you tell us a little bit about the zip control?
Well, we don't do a lot with economizers down here in Georgia, Kenny, but you're right. I mean, it's really cool. You can go to the Belimo, that post, and they actually have a place where you can find, government grants. You just put your zip code in and check it out. So a great thing, hats off. I want to say hi to Lisa Hickey. She runs the marketing up at Belimo, as well as Gary Weber and the rest of the Belimo team. A great product, Kenny. It really is. I think they've taken economizer control to a whole new level. I think it's one of the pre-nominated products for the 2013 Control Trends Award. So it'll be interesting to see how it works out. But do you guys do much with economizers up in Pittsburgh?
Oh, we sure do. In fact, today would be a great day for economizer usage. It's cool, dry air out there, and it would work well for the first stage of air conditioning. Just open up your dampers and let that fresh air in, and just it's great cooling. So we probably get one of the I think it's 42 days or 52 days of what we call economizer weather every year. So out of 365 days, we know we're going to get it will apply to your cooling strategy at least a goodly portion of the year. So yes, it's a good investment.
Well, now what do you probably played more with that economizer than I have. What makes the Belimo Zip Economizer different in your opinion, and why would a contractor or building owner want to go with Belimo versus somebody else?
What Belimo did is they took an automotive grade LCD that's very sturdy and reliable. So all the components are reliable. Then you can build onto it. It's a modular. So if you just want to do simple enthalpy or economizer control, you could do that. But then you can add things to it. And they even have some real estate that they haven't stated what that's going to be for, but they're going to build more into this controller. So what happens is the majority of economizers become neglected over time. So then when you replace them, you got to go salvage as much of the components as possible. But in reality, if you put a new system in with new actuators, a new controller, integrate it, you're going to get a return on investment probably within 2 years. And so it's just a great product, a great idea, and it's simple, straightforward, and it works.
I agree, Kenny, and I think that's what we hear down here in Georgia is most people down here anyway, they have in the past just disconnected them because they didn't work well, they weren't simple enough to set up, and I think you're right with the Belimo Zip, it is easy to set up. So if you have some experience with Belimo Zip's economizer, please let us know and comment your thoughts on that. We'd appreciate it. And speaking of Belimo, Kenny, the next post up, it was a highlight that I actually posted last week, and then it sort of got lost when we changed the website over. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I reposted Warner Buck's induction into the 2012 Control Trends Hall of Fame. And I got to tell you, what a moment. I mean, when you think about that, Warner, if you don't know, is one of the most, he was the perfect guy to be the first inductee into the Hall of Fame. He got a standing ovation, Kenny, from everybody at the Control Trends Awards. It was really powerful to see. So if you haven't seen that yet, you should have checked that out on Control Trends.
Great, Eric. Yeah, it's one of my favorite videos because it captures so much of what we're trying to do in the industry, and I just give recognition. The Hall of Fame concept will continue this year, so we'll come back to that later on. But you're right. I could watch that, and it just makes me remember how many people were there, and these were the heroes and the all stars of our industry. So they all recognized Werner, and it was good to see that happen. All right, Eric. Next up, we have. Eagle Technology launches asset management application on Johnson Controls Panoptix application marketplace. Briefly, Panoptix was a Control Trends Awards winner last year. If you read the post, it goes into a hot button that you can go and you can watch that award being given. Basically, you're taking two great companies and two great concepts, and you're putting them together. That Synergy produces an asset manager tool to make your facilities more intelligent and provide solutions to help reduce the cost of operation through improved asset scheduling and tracking.
No, it's a cool product, and there are rumors. You and I are both going out to the Johnson Controls conference here in Phoenix next month, and the rumors that they might be making some changes to how that comes to the market, so it might be accessible through more channels than just going through the branch. So we're really excited to see and hear more about that. And Kenny and I will be covering the Johnson Controls conference, so we'll be getting back to you with all the new announcements and things that Johnson has going on, which is a lot in addition to the variable frequency drive. So Kenny, why don't we just take a minute and let's play our commercial. Let's introduce the new addition to the Johnson Controls VFD line. Check this out.
Sounds great.
Welcome back. So Kenny, what do you think of that video? Pretty cool, huh?
Pretty snazzy. Yeah, I like it. Great marketing.
Yeah, and speaking of marketing, Kenny, I mean, one of the new categories we've added to the 2013 Control Trends Awards is the best marketing tools and marketing campaign. I don't know exactly how we have that worded, but obviously Johnson's got to be in the running for that, along with Honeywell and Belimo. So very interesting to see how the marketing teams at these individual companies are going to respond, and very interested to see what the industry is how the industry is going to respond, and who are they going to think has the best marketing and the best marketing tools. So that's going to be exciting, eh, Kenny?
Sure. Well, and there's so much talent out there, but I think what happens is some of the things that the themes we're covering and social media being incorporated even to a greater degree with marketing, we're really getting to see some exciting ideas and innovation, and nothing stays static. So it's great to see these great minds and these budgets going in the right direction and refocusing and getting the attention that they deserve for the efforts that they put in.
You're right, Kenny, and it surprised me just how how many hits we're getting. Is you may or may not know, Kenny and I've been doing a series using Google Hangouts called "Using HVAC Controls and Social Media," because I think we're all trying to get dialed in and figure that out. And I got to tell you, Kenny. It's amazing what we've got there. I mean, we've had people like Chad Swin on from ACI and several other key people. So we typically try to bring in somebody outside the industry that is an expert in social media. Like the last one we had Judy Knight from New Tricks talking about how to build a website and a blog and get SEO, as well as Abel Ramirez, aka the Controls Freak, who is a very avid blogger and does a lot of good blogging. So I think that series is going to continue, and so be sure to check those out. But really surprised, how many hits we're getting on those, Kenny.
Well, I'll tell you, Eric, you do a good job, and the way you move the site around, it's even going to get better. But we'll do an overview of the site changes for ControlTrends.org. But we're getting a lot more people coming to the site to see specific things and use it as a pivot point area. In summary on that, how VFDs save energy and money, the video that we have posted this week comes from our friends at Green Build TV Story. And it's produced in a way that for the layman, for the people that are non-techies, and for the people not necessarily in the industry, but they need to know about it. And VFDs, they just come right out and tell you that it's they have the facts and figures of how it works and how it saves money. And so much energy savings and money savings is available because basically a VFD matches the amount of work or load to a motor to the exact amount of energy it needs to power that amount of work. So it's a great post. And then one thing I wanted to wrap up on VFDs from that post was that I worked with ACI, Barry Gordon, this week on an application where they came up with a 0 to 10 volts temperature transmitter to control VFDs. And we had a real interesting application because some of these VFDs, these particular ones were they were square D, and they have 2 speed reference points. And there's so many things that you can do now to optimize your operations and your efficiencies with a VFD. So I think the VFD market is again barely tapped. As we know more about it and sell it better, and people like Johnson Controls come up with better tools for us to size it up immediately, and to do that narrative on the return of investment so well presented to a customer that you come away with the conclusion that the sooner you put it in, the sooner you start saving money.
Agreed, Kenny. And I think the variable frequency drive competition at the 2013 Control Trends Award is going to be really, really contested. Like I say, Honeywell won last year. Great drive. They made some improvements to theirs. Johnson's coming on strong. Siemens is a big player. Tico Westinghouse. And, of course, we're wondering if ABB is going to show up this year. They got a lot of votes last year. Didn't even participate. So, ABB, if you're listening or if you handle ABB, please let their people know that they have an opportunity to win a Control Trends Awards.
All right, Eric. Next up is one of those dates that tripped me up there originally. Cortec 2013 at the Microsoft campus in Redmond, Washington, November 6th through the 7th. And that's going to be another great presentation by Jim Young. And we've got a great video. Jim does a great job explaining what it's all about. But basically, you're bringing 3 things together. You're bringing the innovation, the people that need to know about the innovation, and the people that provide it. So it's a great synergy of experts coming together at probably one of the most exciting places in the building automation world, and that is the Microsoft campus by Daryl Smith.
Well, we had the chance to meet both Jim and Daryl Smith at Ibicon Realcomm down in Orlando earlier this year. And if this is anything like that, Kenny, I mean, Jim Young just puts an event on, and Daryl Smith, one of the most interesting, engaging speakers I've heard in a long time. If you're a real estate person and involved at all with that sort of technology, this is a guy that you definitely want to check out and listen to. So, I hope maybe you and I can get out there, Kenny, or one of us. It's sort of on my wish list, but to go to the Microsoft campus and just see what Daryl's doing out there would be absolutely phenomenal.
It sure would be, Eric. And again, basically, it's a unique gathering of the world's most proactive, visionary corporate real estate, facility, energy, sustainability, HR, and IT executives who come together. And there's a concept that when these really sharp people come together, the ability to diffuse that information in a gathering is so immediate and so effective that it's worth these executives to go to these every year so that they learn in a very short period of time what all is going on and where, and get that modified feedback that it works.
Well, if you listen to guys like Mark Jewell and Tom Rosbach and people that are sort of in the know, and if you're looking at really how you're going to solve this energy problem, I mean, we saw a slide once. I mean, it takes, 15, 20 years to build a nuclear power plant before they can even come online to build a coal plant. So there are all these sort of downsides to these other things. But the one thing that you can do where you can get immediate impact, not just saving energy in your building, but reducing the power grid in general, is by upgrading your temperature control system and controlling that, and automated demand response and things like that. The other thing that we sort of learned from Mark Jewell, Kenny, is that if you own a piece of real estate property, it is one of the best investments you can make, because as people become more conscious about the planet and saving energy, it's really important them the Energy Star buildings of the Energy Star ratings of buildings where they're thinking about leasing, and they can actually charge. Studies show you can actually charge more per square foot for lease if you can show people that your building is state of the art from an energy conservation standpoint. So good stuff there. But if you're not educated on that yet and want to be, Cortex would be a great place to go check it out. So Jim, keep up the great work. Daryl, wish we were going to be able to get out there and see you, but we'll be anxious to hear about it. And if you're attending that, please let us know, and let us know what you think. So, Kenny, speaking of great individuals in terms of energy saving in our industry, I want a special shout out to Scott Cochran from Cochran Supply in Detroit, Michigan. And Scott is embracing social media as well as energy savings. He's one of the truly great guys in terms of bringing this message effectively to building owners so that they know how to take advantage of all that's available. But Scott and his team have an open house that's going to be October 3rd at the Detroit location. And the way I know about this is through their social media site. So thanks to Nicole, who actually had this up on LinkedIn. So we want to reward people that are using social media effectively. So if you're one of Scott's customers or want to be one of Scott's customers, be sure to check out Cochran Supply. Mark October 3rd. Go to their open house. These are good group of guys, super, super sharp. So, Scott and your team, keep up the great work. All right, Kenny, what do we have up next?
Okay, the pivot points of week 37. We have website security statistics report produced by White Hat Security. Some great information to look at there. You can sign up and download a white paper. The next up was dispelling the top 3 myths for utilizing business analytics to improve your organizational processes. There's a live webcast Tuesday, September 26th at 1 p.m. requiring registration, but it really is a great insight because it talks about organizations that are focusing their operations to reduce costs. But there's some misunderstandings there, and this will make sure that you spend your time and money with greater purpose. So that's a great sign up. Next was COR Advisors Webcast for operating leaner, greener facilities. Another great post to go to and visit. But it's basically about return on investment and what owners are looking for when considering energy improvements. Where do you get the biggest bang for your buck? Next up was Harbor Research. Can we really get to an internet of infinite interactions? Excuse me. And a critical juncture on the path to smarter systems where organizations will be crying out for a completely new approach. This was a CABA post that I picked up off of LinkedIn. Great information. And then once you get on there, then you can pretty well pick and choose where you want to go. So if you find something interesting or you're on a particular topic or theme, or you need to do some in-depth research on what you want to do, LinkedIn is a great place to start and find your way through it. Go sign up for one of those groups. The groups are full of very good people with very good content. And last was social media marketing. Was another LinkedIn post by Michael Crossan. This guy gives away more information on social media than anybody I've bumped into. But they get 3 ebooks on how to use different things for traffic, leads, sales for your business. They give away customizable templates, 30 of the greatest lead generation tips, and finally, you get a collection of 30 proven yet often overlooked strategies to improve your sales and marketing.
Well, that sounds great, Kenny. So, Michael, if you're listening, maybe we'll soon get Michael to come on and do one of our hangouts with us using social media in the HVAC industry. But, Kenny, when you, because I know you just scour through, just many different sites and many different, you're constantly on the look for useful information. But let's break it down to, some of the sites for our viewers. If they want some sites to check out, like automatedbuildings.com, Ken Sinclair, that would be a must, I would think. And Jim Young at Realcomm, and obviously we talked about CABA. Are there any others that you can think of right now that our listeners might want to be sure to check out?
Oh, absolutely. Engineered Systems is one of my favorite. You have to sign up and register there, but my goodness, if you're looking for any information on how something works, ASHRAE's a great site. I mean, you could spend an hour a day on ASHRAE because there's so much information that they're putting out. And of course, not all of it applies to your business, but when you want to know how to sell something or how something works or what the pioneer thoughts are or how this thing evolved, and ASHRAE is a great site. IT, you go to IT Worlds, IT Business Edge. That's where you can get a lot of information on big data, analytics, how to apply it. And they have it in different levels. It's stratified. So if you're a beginner and you're just looking for some information, but if you're also interested in buying a product, they sell great products and services and solutions. So those would be a few I'd recommend. And again, visit controltrends.org, review some of those pivot points, and they're all there. Because there's probably 30 or 40 of them. But you sign up for the newsletters and you sign up for their emails. And if you're interested, they'll come at you on a daily wave. And pretty soon you get too many of them, and you got to weed out the ones you want.
Well, I think, Kenny, the point being, if you're somebody who just really likes to do that kind of stuff, those are some of the sites that Kenny visits every week. He spends hours doing this, and if you just want what Ken sort of sorts through, finds what he thinks are the high points that you want to be aware of that week. So the Ken's Pivot Points is a great place to just be able to go check out and find 5 things that might be very germane to you right now. But shout out to Ken Sinclair and the rest of those organizations. Most of them are sponsors for the 2013 Control Trends Awards, media sponsors. So if you come to the awards, you get a chance to meet some of these people. So they're awesome folks covering our industry and doing a great job with it. So Kenny, that sort of brings us to a really cool point. We have, if you've been to Control Trends this week, you notice that we have a new look and feel. And so people have said, why did you do that? Well, a couple reasons. Kenny, you know me, and I sort of can't help myself. I just keep striving to make it better and better. And I used to paint, like oil painting and watercolors and stuff like that. And one of the biggest challenges with doing a painting is knowing when to stop. And I never did know when to stop. I get it to a certain point, and I kept trying to take it to that next level. So I finally gave painting up. But I felt like that as good as Control Trends was, it could look better. I liked the looks of the old site, but it was a little bit like seeing a beautiful woman, and she's just stunning, but she's got a little piece of spinach stuck in her teeth. And so this has been driving me crazy, the old website, for about a year now. I haven't been able to quite put my fingers on what it was. So in the middle of the week, we updated it. We put a new theme up, and I'd like to take a minute and walk everybody through it.
Oh, it's a great improvement, Eric. I really enjoy it. Again, why don't you just show us through the featured story section, the news of the week. On the right side, the great registration information for the nomination to get the ballots, and then for the to register to vote for the Control Trends Awards. I think it's a very organized sortation of information. I really like the improvements.
Like I said, we've redesigned the site. Now, a couple things to note. If you just go up right at the top, we got the search this website. And the way we have things tagged is pretty easy to locate what you're looking for. So you have something specific you're looking for, type it in up here. So like if I type in Honeywell IAQ, for instance, okay? I can just type that in, hit the search button, and it'll start taking you to all the different posts that are tagged with Honeywell IAQ. So you can see in this one we're talking at Control Talk Now. We talked about Honeywell IAQ and a product like that, and it sort of goes on from there. So that's one feature. If you come back to home, the big categories we have, Kenny, are obviously building automation and integration. So you can click on that tab right there, get it. Commercial HVAC, Control Talk Now, you can go to those. Industrial products. And here's another really cool feature, Kenny, which is you can just go over here and click on the videos button, and it will take you straight to a video page. We've got so many videos that we've created over the last couple of years, but you can go right here. And these are actually rated by number of views. So this is the most popular ones on YouTube. So it's a great place to be able to go and check that out. So the other thing, Kenny, as we break down for the 2013 Control Trends Awards, there's some really useful information you can actually get right here on the Control Trends website. So if you come here, you'll see on the right-hand side, get ready for the 2013 Control Trends Awards. Here's a little video that talks about, shows sort of what the excitement and what's going to happen at the awards. You can get your nomination ballot here. If you just basically click on this right here, it'll take you to actually the nomination ballot where you can start nominating individuals, okay? Now, you can take that link and, either put it on your website if you want to, or you can send it out to your network to get nominated. So there's some people that have been pre-nominated for different categories, but you can also come down right here and you can write in somebody new here, and you can use this to nominate up to 2 more people. But the way this goes is you pick your top 3. You just pick 3 in any category, and the nomination period, Kenny, will actually last until October 15th. And on October 15th, we will tabulate the top 5 will actually be finalists, Kenny, in the 2013 Control Trends Awards, and to actually vote for the winner. In other words, you don't have to be registered to be part of the nomination process, but there is an algorithm in there so you can only have 1 nomination ballot per computer. So just be aware of that. If you sit there and just on the same computer and keep hitting nomination after nomination, only one's going to count. but you actually do have to register to vote if you want to get a voting ballot. You can see, you just click on this right here. That'll take you to the place where you actually register to vote, and you fill that in, and we'll just send your ballot out when it's time to vote. So those are a couple things we have on the website. Any comments you have about the look and feel of it, we really would appreciate input on it. You'll notice if you come down here, we'll have a place for featured stories that can sort of stay up for a little bit longer if you want them to. And then if you come down here, this week's top story. So this is where you would just sort of cycle through and get the stories of the week. We got our top post and pages over here. This is based on the number of hits, so you can see what most people are watching. If you click on this button here, it's an archives button, Kenny, and you can go down and you can get the individual months. If you just want to look at, like, for example, what's going on in July of 2013, you click that button, and it'll bring you up. This is all the posts that took place in July of 2013. The other thing we have is, you've come down here, here's some highlight videos of different highlights from the 2012 Control Trends Awards. We have our advertisers here. If you want to advertise on the site, you can. And then we've got some categories down here so you can read more on different topics, okay? So we've got those where you can dial those in, but also by vendor. So we're setting this up, but like, so for example, if you come to the site and you want to read about Mike Marston and EasyIO, you can click here and you can go straight to some of his posts. So those are just a few of the things. Kenny, what do you think?
Fabulous. I really like it. And like I say, it to me, it's more organized in the sortation. So when you're looking for something specific, and it's like a newspaper, so you can just scroll through it and you can read an article, and if something interests you, then you just expand it and then read more. And I think the video parts are a lot of fun, because again, if I have to make a sales call, all these things we talk about when you talk about Mark Joel and all this important learning process and staying proficient, selling is a very important aspect of what we do, and having that background into the information that you're going to discuss. I can't help but recommend people use these tools, because if you could go sell a VFD or try to sell a VFD or do a presentation, the best thing you do is go through somebody's PowerPoint, but then to watch a video, to watch somebody program it, it just makes you better able to deal with what the questions are going to be and sell people, especially when you talk about return on investments, using those tools. Johnson made a great tool available. Honeywell has a great tool available. Belimo has great estimating and sizing tools. Everybody's got these great tools, and it's really, really incumbent upon the person that's selling this stuff to prepare themselves in their great tools to prepare to sell. So it's and this site, ControlTrends.org, it's all organized so that when you want to go after something specific, you don't have to wander around. You get right to it. Commercial HVAC, and so great job.
Well, I appreciate it, Kenny. And one of the things that we've started doing with our proposals, it's like, if you think about that whole process, you don't want somebody else selling your product. So part of what we've deliberately tried to do with Control Trends is get the best people we can to do some product videos. So imagine, for example, you have a proposal and maybe you're talking about the Belimo Energy Bow, for instance. I mean, what better thing to do than, when you send that proposal in, put a link to that video so that they can get that sort of last look, that last piece of information. So that's the way we use the tools at Stromquist & Company. So typically whenever we sell a product, if there's a video, we like to have a video we can attach to it sort of as a final look for a customer. So Kenny, I think we've had another really good week here. You and I are heading out to Arizona here in a couple weeks for the Johnson Controls Conference, and we'll be covering that. And I'm going to, Belimo has their Platinum Distributor meeting down in the Cayman Islands, so I'll be at the Caymans as well. Also have the CGNA Controls Group North America meeting coming up in Chicago, so lots and lots going on, Kenny. So lots of control news to keep up with. Be sure to get your nominations in. Share that with your network. Let's have a great representation of people, not just in the States, but worldwide. I mean, several of the pre-nominees were actually overseas. So to all our viewers in other countries, down under, Australia, Europe, Asia, India, hey, we really appreciate you guys tuning in, and really appreciate the comments you're sending us. So thanks for that. So Ken, anything else before we wrap it up?
No, Eric, I think we put a pretty comprehensive program together here for this week, and looking forward to next week.
There you have it. Special thanks to Johnson Controls, one of our 2013 Platinum sponsors and the sponsor of this week's Control Talk Now. Thanks very much for that really cool video on your VFD edition. Also, thanks to Mark Jewell for the introduction. I'm Eric Stromquist. He's Kenny Smyers. You've been watching Control Talk Now. Download the podcast if you want to. There's a link below, and we'll see you next week on Control Tracks.
Indeed.